Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of complex variables and transforms. This is our lecture number 10, and our today's lecture is basically upon Laplace transforms. Now the Laplace transform, if a function f of t is defined for all the values of t greater or equal than 0, then its Laplace transform is the integral of f of t times e raised to power minus s of t from t equals to 0 to t equals to infinity. It is a function of f now, say f of f, and denoted by Laplace of f. Thus, when you take the Laplace of f of t, it will become f of s. So, the Laplace says that f of s is equals to Laplace f of t, which is equals to 0 to infinity. I'll take the highlighter. Now 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t f of t dt. This is the definition of the Laplace transform and also the valid equation or for the Laplace transformation. Here we must assume that function f of t is such that its integral exists. That is very important. Here the integral should be a definite integral. This assumption is usually satisfied in the applications. We shall discuss that in the end of this section. Not only the value of f is called the Laplace transform, but the operations just described also known as Laplace transformation, which yields f of s from f of t. The function was initially dependent upon time. Now the dependent is upon s that have been shifted to the space. So the Laplace transformation says that a function that is dependent upon time have now been shifted to another variable, that is s. This is called the Laplace transformation or the integral transformation. So we can also write as f of s is equals to 0 to infinity k s of t f of t d of t. Here the kernel k is basically e raised to power minus s of t, which was the basic definition of the Laplace. Furthermore, given function f of t as in the equation number 1 is called the inverse transform of f of s. Here if f of s is a Laplace transform, here f of t is basically its inverse Laplace transform or the inverse transform. So f of t is equals to Laplace inverse of f. So you can take the Laplace of a function. Also you can take the inverse Laplace of the function to make it again dependent upon t. So from 1 and equation 1 steric, it is noted that Laplace inverse of Laplace of f of t is basically equals to f of t, because the Laplace and its inverse are basically cancelled out. And similarly, Laplace and Laplace inverse of f of s is equals to basically f of s. If you have f of s, then you will take its Laplace, because f of s was obtained initially by taking the Laplace. So to find out the f of t, you will take its inverse. And similarly, f of t was obtained by taking the inverse of f. So if you want to obtain f of 2, you will take the inverse, and if you want to find out the f, you will take the Laplace of f. And here it is showing that Laplace inverse and Laplace are both inverse of each other, so they will be the cancel out with each other, and the function which is under it will be remain as it is. Now here is the very first and the very basic and simple example of a function f of t that is equals to 1, where t is greater than equal to 0, and we have to find out its Laplace function f of s. Now we'll take the Laplace of f of t. It would be Laplace of 1. So 0 to 1 e raised to power minus s of t d of t. So it will become e raised to power minus st with dt, which becomes e raised to power minus st over s over minus 1 over s. So the integral is changing from 0 to t. How it's possible? As it is in exponential form. What is the integral of e raised to power 2t? That is e raised to power 2t over 2. Similarly, e raised to power minus st is e raised to power minus st over minus s. Here the minus sign comes out. Now we are taking the integral, or we are expanding basically our exponential function, and its exponent is basically changing from 0 to infinity. Here the final value is infinity, so minus 1 over s, it is like that, minus 1 over s e raised to power minus s. Here t value is infinity, minus sign is basically outside the bracket now, minus 1 over s e raised to power minus s 0. Now it will becomes minus 1 over s e raised to power something multiplied by infinity is also infinity. So it is infinity, which is with negative sign, minus 1 over s e raised to power 0. So now it will becomes minus e raised to power infinity is 0. So this whole value becomes 0 minus 1 over s e raised to power 0 is equals to 1. So that is multiplied by 1. So minus minus, when it comes out, it is positive. So it is 1 over s. Here is the value. So if you have a function f of t which is equal to 1, then its Laplace transform yields the value 1 over s. That is how you calculate a Laplace transform of a function. Now we'll go to the next slide. Here our notation is very convenient, but we should say a word about it. The interval of the integration that was given in the equation number 1, this equation, the interval is infinite. Such as integral is called the improper integral, and by the definition 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t f of t dt, this integral is equals to limit t approaches to infinity 0 to t e raised to power minus s of t f of t dt. When you will expand this, it is e raised to power t dt, its integral would be e raised to power minus s of t over minus 1 over s, where the t is changing from 0 to t. So minus 1 over s e raised to power minus st plus e raised to power 1 over e to power 0, as I have described you in the previous slide. So this side is 0 and this is 1 over s into 1, so it will become 1 over s. So that is how e raised to the Laplace of f of t equals to 1 is 1 over s, where s is greater than 0. Now the Laplace transform of an exponential function e raised to power a of t. Here a is basically a constant. So let a function f of t is in the form e raised to power a of t, where t greater or equals to 0, where a is a constant. Now we have to find out its Laplace transform. Now Laplace of e of a of t is equals to 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t e raised to power a of t dt, which is equals to 1 over a minus s e raised to power minus e to power s minus a into t, 0 to infinity. So the answer is basically 1 over s minus a. How is that possible? I will show you by solving it. Here the definition of the Laplace transform is function changes 0 to t e raised to power minus s t dt. Okay, this is basically the definition of the Laplace transform f of t. Here it was basically equals to 1, because 1 you can say that here it is multiplied by 1. Now the function is e raised to power a of t. So what we will do, will simply multiply that value upon this side. So it will be 0 to t instead of 1. Now we have e raised to power a of t, e raised to power a t. This is for the definition, e raised to power minus st Laplace transform dt. Okay. Now here you can see that both are in the exponent form, so we can write them as e raised to power a minus s of t d. We can write it like that. But the definition of the Laplace says that anything that is with Laplace transform is e raised to power minus s of t f of t dt to make it a Laplace transform. So what we will do here, we will simply change the position here. As we have written here, like 0 to t e raised to power a minus s t d. So we will write it as 0 to t e raised to power minus s minus a into t dt. Now it is in the Laplace transformation form. So we will integrate it. Value comes out at e raised to power minus s minus a over minus s minus a, and the limit is changing from 0 to infinity. It was 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity. So it will becomes 1 over a minus s. Now we'll put the limit e raised to power infinity minus e raised to power 0. E raised to power 0 is 1 with a negative sign, so that is minus 1 over a minus s, or you can say that that is equals to 1 over s minus a. So now this question is clear. If a function f of t is equals to 1, then its transformation is 1 over s. But if a function f of t is an exponential function and here is a constant with t, e raised to power e of t, what we will do? It's basically transformation would be 1 over s minus anything which is with the exponent. Here it is a, b or anything, you can write it as like this. That is how Laplace transformation of an exponential function is. Now the linearity of the Laplace transformation. Just like in simple calculus, linearity also exists in the Laplace transform also. So it says that the Laplace transform is a linear operator, that is, for any function f of t and g of t, these are the two functions which are dependent upon t, whose Laplace transform exists, and any constants a and b, the transformation is a f of t and b g of t exists, then its transform Laplace of a f of t plus b g of t. Here a and b are constant, so they would be expelled out from the Laplace. A, Laplace of the function only f of t, plus b, Laplace of the second function only b of g of t. So by definition, as Laplace a f of t b g of t, that would be equals to 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s t a f of t plus b g of t dt. So a comes out 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t f of t plus b 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s t gt dt. This is the definition of the Laplace of f of t, and this is the definition of the Laplace of g of t. Here constants are outside the Laplace. So the linear property or the linearity exists in the Laplace transformations also. Now the application theorem. These are the hyperbolic functions and how their Laplace are exist. Since the transformation of the cos hyperbolic at and sin hyperbolic at in the exponential form, cos hyperbolic at has the form 1 over 2 e raised to power a of t plus e raised to power minus a of t, and sin hyperbolic has the form e raised to power a of t minus e raised to power minus a of t. Now we have to take the Laplace of cos hyperbolic a of t. So the Laplace of cos hyperbolic would be 1 over 2 as it is, because it is constant, Laplace of e raised to power a of t plus Laplace of e raised to power minus a of t. Okay, that is equals to 1 over 2. As in the previous question, we have find out the Laplace of a of t, which is 1 over s minus a. Similarly, the Laplace of e raised to power minus a of t is the inverse of this. That would be 1 over s plus a. So, the Laplace of cos hyperbolic a of t is equals to 1 over 2, 1 over s minus a plus 1 over s plus a. When we will combine these two and multiply with 1 by 2, the Laplace of cos hyperbolic at is equals to s over s square minus a square. Anything that is comes out after hyperbolic would be at the negative sign with the s. Here at the top we have the s, and in the denominator we have s square minus a square. Similarly, the Laplace of sin hyperbolic at from this equation, that would be equals to 1 over 2 Laplace e raised to power a of t minus Laplace e raised to power minus a of t. As we know, the Laplace of e raised to power a of t is s of 1 over s minus a, and e of minus at is 1 over s plus a, here that are coming with a negative sign. So the Laplace of sine hyperbolic at is a over s square minus a square. We can say that anything that is after the hyperbolic would be at the numerator divided by s square minus a square. So that is how you can find out the Laplace of the hyperbolic functions. First, you will convert the hyperbolic function into the exponential form. Once the exponential form is given, then you will take the Laplace and then you will integrate the exponent to find out the final values for the Laplace. Here, only difference between cos hyperbolic at and sin hyperbolic at is at the numerator cos hyperbolic has s, and at the sine hyperbolic at the denominator has a sign. Now sine and the cosine formulas for the Laplace. Laplace of cos wt or cos theta t is anything that is with the cos, with the t variable. Now here is it is w. So the Laplace of cos wt is s over s square plus w square. Only difference between hyperbolic is basically this positive sign in the numerator. S over s square plus w square. Similarly, Laplace of sin omega t or wt is basically omega over s square plus omega square. How you can find out the calculations? Let's see, the Laplace is equals to Laplace of cos is LC Laplace of cos wt, and Laplace of sin is Ls, that is equals to Laplace of sin omega t. Integrating by parts and noting that the integral free parts. Now when you take the integration, that is 0 to infinity e raised to power minus st cos omega t dt. Now integration by parts. First, as it is cos omega t, integration of second e raised to power minus st over minus s, that is changing from 0 to infinity, minus integration of this term e raised to power minus st over s, and derivative of this term, first term, that is integration by part, which is sin omega t wt. Here minus s and derivative of cos is minus sin are cancelled out with each other. So after the integration and solving this equation, this is equals to 1 over s minus w over s L of c. Similarly, L of s is equals to, for the sin 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t sin omega t dt, again sin omega t as it is, integration of this plus e raised to power minus s of t over minus s, it becomes positive, and derivative of sin omega t is cos omega t over omega, which is omega over s into L of s, which is basically this term. Because of that we have written here as L of s. So substituting L of s in these terms, the final formula for L of c is basically 1 over s minus omega over s, omega over omega s, L over c. So LC or the Laplace of the cosine is equals to s over s square plus omega square. Similarly, for Laplace of sine we have omega over s 1 over s minus omega over s L of s. So when you simplified it, L of s is equals to omega over s square plus omega square. So these two functions, sine, cosine, and sine hyperbolic and cosine hyperbolic, their Laplace are basically the trigonometric functions, or the Laplace functions are basically the universal values. You have to basically memorize these values as well. Here at the cosine hyperbolic you have s over s square minus a square, and at the sign you have a over s square minus a square. Similarly, for the Laplace of cosine function, here is not hyperbolic function, that is s over s square plus w square, and for sine function w over s square plus omega square. Now the basic convention for a power of n for the t, Laplace of t raised to power n minus 1 is equals to 0 to t or 0 to infinity e raised to power minus s of t raised to power n plus 1 dt. So it would becomes e raised to power minus s of t over minus s into t into n plus 1, 0 to infinity plus n plus 1 over s e raised to power minus st t raised to power n into dt, that is integration by parts. So this is the formula of the Laplace transform. Now the integral free part is 0 and the last part is n plus 1 over s times Laplace of n. This is basically he is defining this term. So Laplace of n plus 1, that is equals to n plus 1 over s Laplace of t of n, that is equals to n plus 1 over s into n factorial over s raised to power n plus 1. So if any power of t with plus 1 is a series and you have to take the Laplace, so Laplace of t raised to power n plus 1, that would be equals to n plus 1 factorial divided by s raised to power n plus 2. Okay, now I'll connect the battery. Sorry for the inconvenience. These are the some simple Laplace transforms that are widely used in the when you find out the solution of the Laplace equations. So these are the Laplace transform. If a function is f of t is 1, then its Laplace transform is 1 over s. If f of t is equals to t, then its transform is 1 over s square, 1 greater than the power. If there is function f of t is equals to t square, then its transform is basically 2 factorial over 3 cube. And if t raised to power n, that is equals to n factorial over s raised to power n plus 1. Similarly, if t has a power constant a, that is equals to summation a plus 1 over s plus a. And similarly in the exponential form, if there is a given function e raised to power a of t, that is 1 over s minus that power, that is a. Similarly, if you have the trigonometric or the hyperbolic functions, cos omega t is s over s square plus omega square. Sin omega t is omega over s square plus omega square. The only difference is in their numerators. Similarly, cos hyperbolic at is s over s square minus a square, and sin hyperbolic at is a over s square minus a square. If two functions are combined in the exponential and in the trigonometric form, e raised to power at cos omega t, that is s because of this minus a because of this, s minus a over s minus a square plus omega square. Similarly for sine we have omega s minus a square plus omega square. This is the home assignment of the Laplace transform. Find the Laplace transform of the following functions. T square minus 2t, you have to find out the Laplace transform. Here for t square you have 1 over s cube. From this, t square is basically 2 factorial over 3 cube. Similarly minus 2 as it is t 1 over s square. Similarly, first of all you will take basically expand it out the formula and then you will take the Laplace. then you will take the Laplace of the trigonometric functions, then you have a combined trigonometric and a hyperbolic function, then again a simple trigonometric function, and at the end you have an exponential function. So these 10 questions are for the home assignment. So that was all from today's lecture. I hope you have some understanding of the Laplace transforms and their inverses, how you can take the Laplace transform of a function if the function is given, what are the Laplace transform of the simple functions, what are the transforms of the hyperbolic functions, what are the Laplace transforms of the trigonometric functions, and what are the Laplace transforms of the exponential function. So in this lecture we have studied basically four things: Laplace transform of a simple function, Laplace transform of a trigonometric function, Laplace transform of a hyperbolic function, Laplace transform of a exponential function. In all these Laplace transforms, what we have done basically, we have converted our function f of t into the form f of s. So that is how you take the Laplace transform of any function. So that was all from the today's lecture. I hope you have understand the lecture of the Laplace transform. Thank you so much.